Welcome to the Unfucking Your Money podcast with your girl, Maisha T. Hill. Today's episode is all about your body knows before your bank account. And super excited to be joined today by Dr. Yulinda Renee Rahman. But before Doc gets on, I just want to let y'all know this. Your money stress is a nervous system thing before it's a numbers thing. You feel the distress of no money in your body before you actually feel it in real time. Now, you hear the manifestation gurus say, oh, money is energy, but that energy is first stuck in your body. Because for me, perfect example, when I'm sick, my cortisol is high, I'm stressed out, and my body and the idea of money to pay bills, it's all survival mode. And I lived this firsthand. A couple weeks ago, I even had something else happen with my health. And then yesterday, I get diagnosed with degenerative disc disease. And listen, degenerative disc disease is something that everybody over 40 will experience. Okay. However, the tears flowed. And for the first time, I didn't react, I just responded. And my response was, things are going to get better. Right. And sometimes, when you're so worried about where's money coming from and the stress that comes with it, you're not even in a space to receive it because the idea of money can also become an avoidance and get you in a flight, freeze, or fawn response, right? And that's not a character flaw. Like our brain is supposed to do that. Our brain is supposed to scan for threats, our brain is supposed to react, our amygdala gets hijacked. And for me, I know that my money stress lives in my head. I begin to intellectualize. Well, what can I do? And how can I figure this out? And then it moves down to my chest. And then I start talking fast. And it's just like, ooh, illness, crises, issues around money, scarcity, it keeps our body braced. And if you're in a brace, how do you unfreeze that? How do you let go? It's hard to do that. It's hard to embrace. It's hard to embrace, especially when it comes to thinking about your money. And so I have learned that a more regulated nervous system and a more regulated body will help us make more clear money choices. And today I wanted to bring in my homegirl, an expert around body-based trauma, Dr. Yulinda Renee Rahman, to help us continue the conversation around what happens when we feel stressed. What does our body do? Why do we freeze? How does illness and financial crises compound the nervous system? Because this is her expertise. And why not do this with people that I love and care about? And I'm super excited to introduce you to Dr. Yulinda Renee Rahman. All right, y'all. So let's welcome Dr. Yulinda Renee Rahman to the podcast. Hey, Doc, how you doing today?
What's up? What's up? I'm good. Glad to be here.
I'm so glad you can have this conversation with the folks and just want to just give you a shout out to be one of the most phenomenal Black women I know in my life. But why don't you tell the folks about you, what you do, and how that connects to money and
Oh, well, that
body?
felt good to hear. Thank you. I receive. I'm practicing that, receiving. Oh man, this question always fucks me up. Okay, real quick about me. So, like said, Dr. Linda Renee Rahman, I work at the intersection of a lot of things, but mainly kink culture and somatics and intersectionality and how all of those things impact how we show up in the world. I am a doctor of clinical sexology, licensed clinical professional counselor. I'm a licensed educator. And more importantly, my goal is to create space where people feel heard, seen, and understood, because I think globally we can all agree that that's what we all would like to have. So that's me in a nutshell.
Love it. That's you. That's her. I can say more, but she just gave it to you. Really excited though to how you introduced yourself just around kink culture, and I want to just add like being in one of your classes, Power and Praxis, like how you break down just consent and culture and power and how powerless we could feel when we think about money and how our
Mhm.
body can actually shut down. And I'm just curious, like what actually could be happening in our body when we feel some form of like money stress or life stress?
Yeah, it's so interesting. You're bringing me back to my Heal on Purpose days, and I had a class where it was called "Poverty Mindset Can Lead to Poor Pockets," right? And so,
You know what? That's why you my sister twin. Keep going.
I mean, but when you say what happens in the body, so much happens in the body, right? It can simultaneously have you wanting to run away, wanting to burn shit down, and wanting to freeze all at the same time, right? Because you have adrenaline going, you have cortisol going, anxiety, depression can be something that happens. It's just a flooding of the system, especially if you can't think your way or feel your way out of it, you can feel stuck, right? And feeling stuck and feeling powerless can make it difficult for you to cognitively think of what moves to make because it begins to shut down the prefrontal cortex.
Is that okay? Wait. So you said the thing about the freeze, right? Because I was like, well, why do we freeze? Is that the amygdala hijack
It
that
sure
has
is.
like it just takes over?
Yeah, the amygdala is on, right? Because it's sensing danger, right? And
Hmm.
then when that happens, our prefrontal cortex tends to get quieter, right? It goes offline because we're going into instinctual moves, right? We got to figure this shit out ASAP. And it makes it more difficult to be logical, right? Because you're operating from fear.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And fear is really part of our body's response to what feels like crises. And it makes me think of the times that over the last 2 years, what do you tell me? I'm collecting infinity stones with everything that's
Yes.
happened, has happened, not is, has happened to me,
Right.
right? And I get curious too then about illness and how illness and crises compound and just hit the nervous system where we just what happens? Are we checking out? Are we yeah.
Well, your body is overloaded, right? If you think about your body being flooded with adrenaline, you think about your body being flooded with cortisol, you think about acute stress. I mean, because a little bit of stress can be almost motivating, right? It can get you moving, right? It's something called eustress, which is quote unquote good stress, which is like the things that motivate you. Like you give yourself a challenge, you run, you meet the challenge, you feel good, pat on the back, right? Eustress. You want a little bit of that to get you moving. But chronic stress begins to break down the body. Right, your immune system is compromised. You know what I mean? You can't fight off things as much as you used to, right? Your joints are affected, your stomach is affected, your cognitive processing is affected. It affects all of it because you're flooded constantly. There's no break, you know?
If okay, but so then here's the thing that as you're talking, I'm like, so I'm compounded and flooded with illness and stress. And
Mhm.
then we have things that like I use for work, like social media, or I don't watch the news anymore because that was just I can't. But I'll read really quickly to once or twice a week to get caught up, right?
Yeah.
That adds on to it. So then how do you let me just use your line of work for example, right? In your line of work, what would I, someone like myself, do to come bring my body into a state of not stress free, but at least relaxation?
Well, it's so interesting because what it requires is for us to bring that cognitive space back online, but we kind of run away from it because then we're overwhelmed with the thoughts, we're overanalyzing whatever. So getting ourselves to a place where we can be present without being overwhelmed, right? So whether or not that is some type of sensation that can get you in your body without you escaping to your head. So, if we're talking about like kink, and when people hear kink, they might be thinking about swinging on chandeliers and ropes and, whatever, which could be. But it could be as simple as, if you think about sensation, you can just simply, grab your hands, you can like press them together really hard. And it's more so somatics than it is quote unquote kink, right? What we're talking about is more somatics, is you can do tapping, right? You can do, like I do self-flogging. If I would have thought about it, my flogger is right here because I was going to do that later on today. Um, and
Wait,
self-flogging.
wait. Everybody heard it. I heard it too. You said you were. Tell us about the self flogging. We can come back to the rest because now I'm like, what you mean? Wait.
So this is
And the
something,
people y'all won't be able to see it, but I see it.
right? So you might be able to hear it. So
Oh,
I've been under my own stress, right? I've been extremely stressed out the last couple of weeks to the point where I was constantly overthinking. I'm like, Yulinda, like we need to get the fuck out of our brain and we need to get in the body. And so I just started doing some self-flogging. So let me see if you all can hear it. Can y'all hear that?
I cannot hear it.
You can't hear it?
No, but I can see it.
Yeah, but what it did was, and then you can change the intensity. It's not necessarily about pain, it's about me paying attention to the sensation that my body is experiencing, honing in on that sensation, breathing through it, and allowing me to reconnect with a body that has either been stressed out, frozen, wanting to fight, wanting to flee, and it allows me to just be present with it for a moment in time where we're not fighting one another, right? And so it
Mhm.
really helped me to calm down a bit. And it allowed me to think more clearly afterwards, right? And so all of the squirrels and the shit that was running around in my head calmed down enough for me to then think clearly enough to make a path to move forward. So yeah.
That is really dope. Like you just showed in real time how you would, this is a practice to kind of bring yourself down, and does this build safety back up in your body?
It can, right? Because you're the one administering the sensation. So if you even think about like you might feel like you have no control, right? You know, whatever's going on around you, the money issues, whatever, you're feeling out of control. This can be another way to bring a sense of control back into your life. You are administering the sensation. You get to determine how much you receive. You can get to determine what type, where you receive it, what it will feel like. And I think having that form of control in some area of your life can help you kind of translate that creativity into other areas of your life. I think that's what happens when we get flooded is that we lose our access to our creativity.
That's powerful, especially when we are living in a world where we have natural resources that we pay for. Uh-huh.
Mm,
And the first thing we do is just disengage or disappear. So I really love that idea of finding something that you can connect to with your sensations, with yourself to bring you
mhm,
back. Sometimes for me, it's just the crunching on the ice,
mhm,
um, or washing my hands in cold water.
mhm.
And now I'm curious, watching you flog yourself. I'm like, I wonder if there's some other type of body-based activity to bring myself back from any type of money stress, or even
Mhm,
just start teaching myself to relearn safety in my body.
mhm.
Um, this is really good. Thank you as always too for being so vulnerable because you don't know me. Well, you know me, but we don't
Uh-huh.
know these folks really who listen to the podcast. So for you to show up and be so vulnerable, is that also part of just who you are as a person, or is that something that keeps you regulated and honest? And I know you have audacity, but where does that vulnerability in this conversation come from?
It's both and. I have gotten tired of attempting to self-protect to the point where it makes it difficult to connect, right? And
Mhm.
so self-protection that leads to disconnection. And so I got tired of that. And so I feel like vulnerability, it not only gives me permission, but I believe it gives other people permission, right? Until they can give themselves permission. It's like, oh, well, this person is willing to show up and take a risk and be seen to this capacity. Maybe I can do that too. And if not with strangers, maybe I can start with allowing myself to be radically honest. Right. When we
Yeah,
talk about vulnerability, I think that starts, well, I don't think, I know that starts with us being honest with ourselves. If you can't be vulnerable with you, then it makes it much more difficult to be vulnerable with others.
absolutely. And I think this is one of the things, right? When I talk about money stress, one of the things that you've helped me with is you'll be like, so what do you want to do about it? And I'll give you the whole intellectualized answer. You'd be like, okay, so are you feeling your feelings? Do you feel your body? And I'll be like, yeah, sure. I feel everything. And but you've taught me to be more vulnerable with myself and more open around my own wounds and scarcity and the things that I believe because I'm super intelligent. I'm not gonna,
Mm-hmm.
but it's easy for me to like go into the thinking and versus the how can I get bring myself into my body and
Mm-hmm.
really relearn safety and really feel into it. And that's kind of the point of this podcast, right? Is to really say that like we fuck up our money.
Mm-hmm.
I had that big ass platform. I gave my money away. I blew my money off. And now here I am, right? Like navigating all these things. And it would seem that money is the most important piece of my life. But if my body cannot receive it, if my body cannot relax, if I can't feel my body, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm just what is it called? Ruminating over the idea of money and or feeling like a failure. And hearing you talk about and watching you vlog was like, wow, my body definitely does need to be more relaxed and
Mm-hmm.
and have a felt sense before I could like even what's the word I'm thinking of? Engage with the idea of money as an abundant mindset. And I'm going to ask you this is one more question, which is connected to that. What do you wish that everyone understood about the body and money, or the body and stress?
So, and I'm going to assume your audience is similar to mine, otherwise I wouldn't be here. I can speak to people who are here on purpose, right? And because we see people out here getting money, you're like, why the fuck they getting money? I ain't getting money, right? Like, what's
Mhm.
what's what's happening? I can speak to people who are here for a purpose, who are here for mission. And what I can say is that we have to be ready to receive, which means we have to have gone through all of the shit tied to scarcity and worthiness and all of that, because our money that we will receive is also for purpose, right? And if we are still blowing our money, if we are still giving our money away, then you will only get what you can receive right in this moment before it begins to flood in. So I'll use myself as an example. I'm still in a precarious situation because I tend to give my money away. Right?
Mm.
So as I get it, I give it away. So universe like, okay, bet we only gonna give you enough money to pay your bills, and we might not give your ass that until you learn how to receive and invest in the mission you are here to move forward, right? And so when we're talking about connecting money to the body and everything else, if you have not learned to accept your body, your lived experience, your vessel, then why would it attract more? Right? Why would your vessel be the container to attract abundance if you yourself have yet to accept it fully as it is right now? Right? And that means that you accept the way it looks, you accept the way it moves through the world, you accept its limitations, right? And I already know that the people who are listening have wounds that they are probably avoiding, right?
Mhm.
I already know it. And you ain't gonna get money and keep it, right? You might get it, but you're not going to keep it, and it's not going to come in consistently until you deal with what's preventing you from feeling worthy of having it and having the capacity to be a good steward of it. Are you a good steward of money?
Jesus, that was a mission, that was a sermon, and that was a word. I don't like, I get on these podcast streets with you or I live, and I often end with like, wow, what do I say next? For those of you who are listening, being authentic and real and unedited, that was so powerful. I'm only gonna, the universe is like, yeah, okay, sure, you want some money, great. I'm just gonna give you just enough because you're not ready to hold it. You're not investing in yourself.
And it's hard to admit, right? Like it's hard for me
Mhm.
to admit that I am still. And here's the thing: it's not just money. Are you giving yourself away? It's all
Oh,
It's all energy. Like money is not different from you. Are you giving yourself away? Are you giving other realms of resource away? Or are you hoarding it? Right? Are
mhm,
you hiding yourself inside your home in a box afraid to connect with people? That's a resource. You're hoarding it. So if you are
mhm.
hoarding your own energetic resources, that's the same as money. It ain't no different, right? So think about, are you a good steward of the resources you already possess? And that includes yourself.
Jeez, this is good. This is good. I'm sitting here just like,
I mean, I wasn't. And I still struggle to be. Like, I'm on the same goddamn struggle bus as everybody else. Like, please don't get it twisted.
yeah.
Please don't get it twisted. I am learning too. Right. And so,
That's, life is school. And I think we're our own teachers, but then other people walk the path, right, with us and
yeah.
help us teach ourselves and come home to ourselves on this journey as well. So thank you for this. And for those of you who are listening, we're going to put Dr. Yulinda Renee Rahman's notes on information in the show notes.
Mhm.
And your try this activity this week is, I want you, before you open up your bank accounts this week, I want you to try a grounding reset. And
Mhm.
for me, it might look a little different than for you.
Mhm.
I want you to go to your music playlist and I want you to pick a song about money. My song right now is Cardi B, Money.
Mhm.
And I want you to just play whatever song you want and let that song resonate, move your body a little bit, and then open up your bank account.
Mhm.
And then just notice your breathing. Notice what you feel. Sense into your body.
Mhm.
And then ground yourself. Put your hand on your heart if you have to. Take some slow breaths and say, this is temporary.
Mm,
I can get better, and I
mhm,
will.
mhm.
And we're going to work through some more exercises like this, y'all, in our 21-day Unfuck Your Money Challenge. I hope that you join us. Thank you, Dr. Yulinda Renee Hartman, for your time today.
Yeah.
And we will see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.